you know, we were really into Kung Fu, both practiced yoga. You know, I've done meditation and interested in Buddhism, and we're into Taoism, that sort of, those philosophies and stuff. So we definitely brought that to the table when we started creating the show. But really, you know, it started with a sketch Bryan did of a monkey robot and this kid with an arrow on his head, and he did some sketches of a bison-type creature that became Appa. But, you know, at the time, we didn't have a story. We were just like, this is interesting.
He was just sort
character.
of like this air shepherd. He was up in the sky, you know.
Yeah, and I was kind of into the whole story of Shackleton and the guys trapped on the South Pole back in the day. And so those ideas kind of combined with Bryan having this like major revelation during a yoga class one night of like these fire people attacking this group of people on the, you know, South Pole and stuff.
And this air kid is the one who can save them.
So kind of through that we're like, oh, well, if there's fire and water, there would be other nations, air, there would be Earth nation. And so that's kind of where the idea of the 4 elements nations came from.
4-element theory is in many cultures, including ancient Buddhism. Mike and I it was just this universal thing, and it's something you connect with really quickly. You could say 1 or 2 of the elements and people fill in the blanks. And so we liked that the world, you got it.
It started with making this pilot, which was pretty much me and Bryan and some animators in Korea. And then we got picked up for the series, and it's like, well, man, we got to make, you know, at the time it was 13, and then later 20 episodes.
And then 61.
We had to bring on some great talent, and so we first turned to a lot of people we had worked with in the past. Aaron Ehasz, who became the head writer, we had worked with on Mission Hill.
Nickelodeon wanted something with magic and action, but it's a kids' network, and you know we couldn't just have straight-up violence, and that's honestly not something Mike and I were interested in anyway. But you know the world of like the kind of wizards and magic and wands and stuff, it never really made a lot of sense to me. It just seemed to me too many loopholes. I didn't understand the rules or limitations. Mike and I both felt that let's do something really physical with the magic, you know? It's magic, but we won't even call it that. It'll just be an extension of the person's chi into the element. But there were limitations. You know, they had to be trained and they had to work and earn these skills. They weren't just like, I'm granted with these powers and I can do things. We arrived at the idea pretty early on, oh, let's use traditional, you know, some kind of kung fu. But we were like, let's just pick one that'll look good in animation, and thought that Northern Shaolin was a good traditional Chinese martial art that had really big, you know, balletic movements, really dynamic stuff, a lot of jumping, falling. Thought this would be a good style, so I found all the teachers I could find in the area. Ended up with Sifu Kisu. He had the idea that each nation would have its own style. We kept Northern Shaolin for the Fire Nation. We used Bagua for the Air Nation. There's a lot of like, they say like tornado power, a lot of spinning. Tai Chi for water, this sort of flowing, you know, balance shifting. And then Hungar for earth, this really strong, like rooted physical one. And I mean, that's it. We mixed stuff as we needed it. You know, sometimes we needed a move that had a little different flavor, but those were the main ones.
The first character we had was Aang, you know, the avatar, the main character. And we knew, like, after coming up with these other nations and stuff that, you know, he'd have companions on this journey with him. And we really liked the idea of having kind of this brother-sister team alongside him, and that one would be a bender and one wouldn't be. We wanted her to be the water bender. You know, we wanted to give her an arc as well. She needed a place to go, and if she had already lived there and there were all these water benders around, we were like, well, she would have already mastered water bending, and what does she need to go on this journey for? You know, so that's where the idea of like that she was the last one left on the South Pole came from. Yeah, and it's been satisfying too to have Katara and other female characters in the show that the fans really connect with. The show is pretty much split 50-50 between boys and girls, men and women who like the show. It just shows that you can do a cool action adventure show and it doesn't have to exclude, you know, a whole segment of the audience. To go along with all our kind of main bender characters, we wanted the guy who's like kind of the audience point of view in a way, where it's like a regular dude who doesn't have any powers hanging out with all these people who do have powers. And even though his sister has waterbending, he's kind of skeptical of it all. He's like, doesn't really think that that's the answer to the world's problems, maybe, you know.
And it's just his smart ass. It's just fun to have that sort of, like, someone always has to say something about everything, you know. We're huge fans of, like, big epics and all this stuff. We're also cornballs, too. Like, we like, you know, cheesy teen romance stuff's it's always fun. And just that dynamic of, like, being the young kid and having the crush on the older girl, and she loves you, but like a babysitter, you know, like a little brother or something. Especially a kid who feels out of place in the world, and, you know, she's the first person he has that he really feels a connection with, and it's like his new family. And we just always thought Katara would be the heart of the show, and Aang would sort of be the spirit. My guess, the thing that really resonated with people are those character arcs. It's not something you get a lot in American TV animation, you know, this continuous storyline where people actually change and they learn, they make mistakes, and they have to pay for those mistakes. And yeah, we never wanted to be preachy with the spirituality, and we don't claim to be experts in any of this stuff. We just admire it and draw from it in our own lives and try to infuse it into the work that we do. And for us, the theme of the whole series was always about balance. It was always not about good versus evil. It was about a world out of balance. There were these 4 cultures that at one time had found a way to coexist, and it all fell out of balance. And that's the Avatar's job. It's why he or she is born in each nation in a cycle. It's to kind of spread the love and keep balance in the world. Nickelodeon let us do it, which is the most incredible part of the story. You know, we somehow got away with it and told the story we wanted to in the way that we wanted to.
Is it okay? Because our jaws really hard.
Let's roll, please.
Okay, the spiritual place. I can't find it.
What? We'll have some dinner. This is going to be an interesting documentary.
What are you filming this for? Go away.
Probably shouldn't put that in the video.
Wow, are you gonna
And cut on rehearsal.
This is a warship. The room is made in... I choked on my spit. Sorry.
And action.
You know, people live so high up in the mountains. I wish just got caught.
I'm sorry, I didn't kick it. Oh my God, I keep kicking it. It's so weird.
Hey.
And action.
Will convince others that the forhåndene møter har en dagja.
Where are you coming from?
Cut. Come on, you toe. Cut.
Welcome to Mustache Club. I kind of fancy him now.
Dad cannot get out.
Seriously, shoot it.
See if he can outbreak.
I'll be the worst boom man. I'll be so noisy.
Are they really rolling? Yeah. Don't even print this.
It's time to dance.
Starts off simple, then he goes wild. I didn't believe that for a second. Hey!
Good chapter of the DVD dedicated to Noah's robot.
What?
Let's launch 1 hour, everybody. The FX is coming.
Getting my agent on this people. Guys, any luck? Oh, I'm so cold. Hey! I was actually getting worried. This is what I get.
You can come out now. It's safe. They're gone. The Fire Nation's gone.
I wish to speak to a monk who died. He was a friend of mine.
If there is the presence of a monk who knows this boy, please speak to us. Wait. I sense a presence in the room. I sense the monk's name begins with a J. S. P. R. G. Yes! I can feel him in the room. A monk whose name begins with G. He walks with a cane.
He didn't have a cane.
Maybe it's a walking stick. It could be he's carrying a pipe. or a pointer? You are not being open-minded. He had to be carrying something.
Beads?
Beads. I feel it clearly. It's clear. A monk in the room whose name begins with G. He carries beautiful beads.
If the Fire Nation were to conquer the Northern Water Tribe city, they would be too powerful to overcome. You must stop this.
Dragon Spirit. Say you.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Suddenly, I don't feel very well. Where was I? It was a monk with a pipe, right?
Did you put up the other posters?
Yes, and I told the townsfolk to tell the nearby villages about all. Where were you?
A dragon spirit spoke to me. He said that if the Northern Water Tribe were taken, the Fire Nation would win the war.
We have to get there quick.
Well done, Katara.
Thank you, Master Paku.
What were you feeling?
Thoughts about my family ran through me.
Were they all good thoughts?
Some were sad.
Water is what?
The flowing element, the element of change.
As Master Water, you must release your emotions wherever they may lead you. Water teaches us acceptance. Let your emotions flow like water.
There are so many.
Keep fighting.
Oh, you have to do something. Yui is dead.
What? Stop it.
Do it for Yui!
Our forces at the Northern Water Tribe have failed. Commander Jia was killed. There is good news. Your son was seen alive with General Iro. No one knows where they went. It is said General Iro displayed the ability to self-manifest fire during the battle. And the Avatar. They said the Avatar can bend 3 fields of water. They say he can bend the ocean. They say it was incredible to see.
When this fire has reached 3 fields in length, I want you to try and stoke it.